Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be reviewing the Kansept Knives Vivid. This is a Jacob Lundquist design and I thought it was an absolutely stunning piece. And this one right here has Kansept's polished DLC finished blade and I absolutely love it. Even though it's a fingerprint magnet, I think it's an absolutely stunning finish. And you're not going to really have to worry about it scratching easily on you or anything. It's a super tough finish. And this is a fairly compact knife. This is a nice medium-sized EDC knife coming in at 7 inches overall. It has a 3-inch Wharncliffe blade, and this one is in S35V in steel. It's going to be a great utility slicer. You can make those very fine, intricate, detailed cuts with that needle-like tip there. And then being you have your straight edge, you're going to be able to get full power from the heel to the tip when you're slicing through something. You also have a nice forward finger choil that's going to double as an oversized sharpening choil. So you're going to have pretty much, you're going to have all the way till you get to the top of that sharpening choil before it'll even think about widening on you, and that plunge grind's brought all the way back here. So excellent job there. You have a fuller on both sides of the blade, and if the DLC isn't your thing, there are several other variations to choose from. You don't have any jimping, didn't find it necessary. Your blade stock thickness is coming in at 0.12, and your flat grind comes down to around 19 thousandths behind the edge. So why don't we see what this one can do? thought this one sliced very well. And now let's take a look at your deployment in action. So this is a crossbar lock. You have your blade hole and you have the fuller that you could possibly do a reverse flick, but the blade hole works great. Nice, silky smooth action, riding on cage ceramic bearings. This is an adjustable crossbar lock. You have 3 different tension settings. I'm sure it's probably in the middle right now, which in my opinion, this is good the way it is. But if you want to increase it, you could move it over in that direction. If you want to decrease it, you can move it over in that direction. Talking about the 3 little holes that the Omega spring goes into. The blade hole is easily accessible on both sides, as you see there. And if you want to, you could also deploy it with the crossbar lock tabs. Talk about the ergos. I thought it was rather comfortable, especially in this choke up spot. You know, I was able to, it felt like I could get a ton of force into whatever I was cutting. Nothing really poking or prodding me. And whenever I'm choked up right here, these 2 fingers for me fit perfectly in those 2 little choil spots right there. And if I want to choke back, I can do that, but you're a pretty good ways away from that edge. So, you know, in hand cuts, I'm going to be choked up. That's just me. Pocket clip stayed out of the way of my palm. It wasn't hurting, it wasn't poking or prodding me any. And even though I don't usually like to see, you know, an extra choil because it's going to force you into this grip or into this grip. It's kind of hard to kind of move around that because you're going to be sitting on top of one of them. But luckily, my medium-sized hands, it fits perfect in the choke up and choke back position. In this pull grip, it's okay. You know, you got a good bit of arc here, so these 2 spots are going to contact here and here. It's not terrible, you know. And if you choke up like into the choil area, I think it's a little more comfortable. I could get a lot more force that way. And then in the reverse grip, you got a nice flat spot to rest your thumb just in case you want to stick it into some wood, make a feather stick, or whatever you want to do with it like that. Take a look at these scales. So this one has black washed titanium scales with purple haze fat carbon covers. Your hardware, you have a Torx T8 for your pivot and your body screws. The only T6 you have is for your clip screw, and I can understand why they did that. It's because it's on the bottom right here, and I doubt they could fit a bigger screw. It's a T6 at the bottom right here. That doesn't bother me at all. And they did a good job of softening. They like rounded over these edges right here. You can see it right here. Great job there. You got a pretty nice size chamfer right here that kind of gives you that swirly look in the carbon fiber, and it just gives you a nice little touch right here. You got a slight contour on those scales, making it feel nice in hand. Small titanium backspacer that is housing this pocket clip screw, and you have a standoff right here as well. I guess they had to do that being that they didn't have a screw here. I'm not sure. Maybe they were having issues there. I don't know. Oh, I see. Okay. This standoff right here is housing a small stainless steel plate they are utilizing for the crossbar lock, so that makes sense. And with all the titanium that they milled out here for the carbon fiber to bring down the weight, they don't have any internal milling, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Bringing the weight to 109.2 grams or 3.85 ounces, I think that's perfectly manageable. Your lockup on that crossbar lock, super tight. I don't have any up and down on mine and no side to side, but I still have a nice smooth action. Excellent job. Now time for some size comparisons. It's a good bit smaller than the Ontario Rat Model 1 and it's pretty much identical in length to the Ontario Rat 2. And it's a good bit smaller than the Spyderco PM2, and it's just a hair shorter than the Spyderco Power 3. And lastly, it's very similar in length to the Wii Roxy 3, and it's a little longer than the Kaiser Drop Bear. Now, being that absolutely no knife's perfect, one of my nitpicks and complaints, I don't really ever like seeing these double choils right here. However, this one wasn't bad. You know, my fingers fit in this grip and in the choke up spot, so not a big deal for me, but you know, I can't speak on those that your fingers are going to fit in between the little nubs right there. Don't know if I mentioned it, but this pocket clip is reversible if you didn't know that, because that's the way he did it like that. It does spin around and it does sit all the way deep. So other than the little choil areas, I don't really have much to be nitpicky about on this one. It's a good performer. I love the polished DLC blade. And if you don't like that one, there's several different variations to choose from. You can get it without carbon fiber as well. I think they have a couple of micarta variants. And I personally think it's a good looking knife. The Vivid ranges from $180 for the cheapest one all the way up to $340, depending on which one you choose. And if you're interested in picking up one of these and you want to help support the channel, you can use my links. That will be down below in the description. If so, I can't thank you enough. That helps me pay for my testing materials. If not, no sweat at all. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions in particular, feel free to ask me down below, and I'll do my best to get back with you. Hope every single one of y'all is having a fantastic day today. And remember, keep these blades sharp. Smile more. Grace!